Hello everyone, my name is Wayne.
And I'm Rebecca.
And we are your Bourbon Journey. Today it is a blast from the past as we are now going to do a dusty bottle. This is our time where we review something from many years ago. Today we have a bottle of Old Charter. And I'm going to give you a little information about the brand, and I do believe it is still around today. In the 1970s, Old Charter was a key brand owned by Schenley Distillers, one of the big four distilling conglomerates that emerged after Prohibition. Old Charter was primarily distilled and bottled for Schenley at the Bernheim Distillery in Louisville, Kentucky. The 7-year-old 86 proof expression was a consistent, widely available bottling for the brand. This was considered a high-quality, solid entry in their portfolio. Since the bottle dates to 1976, the whiskey was distilled no later than 1969. In 1974, Old Charter celebrated the bottling of its 1 millionth barrel, a significant achievement that highlighted its status as a major brand in the American whiskey landscape, even as the industry faced declining sales. This represents a chapter in the brand's history before a series of corporate changes. 1. Pre-1987, owned by Schenley. 2. 1987, Schenley was acquired by United Distillers. 1999, the Old Charter brand was acquired by Savory Company, and production eventually moved to Buffalo Trace Distillery in Frankfort, Kentucky, where it is made today. This 1976 Old Charter bottle is a tangible piece of the Glut Era, representing a time when classic American brands were still operating at scale, often putting out high-quality, long-aged liquor before the corporate considerations of the 80s and 90s reshaped the industry. This bottle is considered a Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. It is distilled in Kentucky, and it's bottled by Old Charter in Lawrenceburg. It is 7 years old, 86 proof. Estimated year that it was bottled was 1976. For sale in Indiana only is listed on this label. It is a 1/4 pint, which is 4 ounces. It was purchased January 31st, 2025 for $100 at Revival Vintage Spirits in Covington, Kentucky. And I'd like to give Brad a shout out because when I was calling in looking for stuff, this little bottle just happened to be on his shelf. And if you're looking for anything, he gets stuff in and stuff is sold quickly. He happened to have this puppy.
How tiny it is.
And he sent me a picture. And I was like, yeah, I got to have this cute little baby, especially considering the fact that it was a name brand.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to check this guy out. Now, he's 86 proof.
Pretty light, but we found that a lot of the dusty bottles, even at the lower proofs, seem to have a little bit more body and or flavor just because of the way things were done then. We don't know about this one, if that will be the case. I hope you enjoy the past advertisements that I was showing while Wayne was sharing the history of this. I thought that would be a fun way to take you back, a blast to the past, so to speak.
The advertisements are really, really cool. And it's a sad thing now because with the advent of the internet, I think, and with stuff you see online, there's a lot of that character stuff that's no longer really available.
I just want to comment that the legs on this are fantastic. I don't think I've ever seen legs like this on an 86 proofer. Now, it is 7 years old. That's a pretty good age statement on something that today would be a bottom shelfer, unfortunately.
Well, we've opened stuff in the last few months that hasn't had this much leg that's been a lot higher proof.
Yeah, that's just crazy, the viscosity. I hope it carries through on the mouth. The nose has got a hint of butterscotch.
Yep.
That's also something when we're doing the Sipping on History series, we frequently find notes of butterscotch, whereas today's bourbons, it's kind of a rarity to find it.
Yes.
It's got some other notes too. I was thinking it's got some light fruit notes, almost pear, and I never get anything like a pear.
Pear is a really good call. It's that smell that the snack pack things you get in the 70s and you crack open, it would have that smell of that pear.
I was thinking slicing one fresh open, and when you first slice into it, it pops with all the aromas coming forward. I'm ready to taste.
Oh, I am really ready to taste this. Cheers to Brad up at Revival Vintage Spirits and anybody out there that remembers Old Charter back in the day. Hope you enjoyed this. Cheers.
Sipping on History.
Sipping on History. That's butterscotch.
Yeah, but it's got some bite to it, which is interesting to me. I wasn't anticipating that, being the lower proof. It's not as sweet on the palate as it was on the nose. It's got this little bite to it.
The thing I noticed with the notes that I was reading in the mash bill, it makes me wonder how much rye is in this.
Yeah, it was considered a rye mash bill bourbon, but there was no official documentation as to what it was back then in that day. Couldn't find that. I tried.
Gosh, I'd almost guess there had to have been a decent amount of rye in this. Because it's almost leaning toward a savory.
But the nose is sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out what that is I'm picking up.
I'm trying to think as well.
It's got me stumped.
There's a little bit of barrel in it. You can tell that it's been 7 years in that barrel.
And that might be what I'm getting, and I wasn't expecting that. I should with the 7-year age statement.
That might be it. I'm going to try it again.
Because it's got a little bit of a wood note, because it was almost a little bit tannic at a couple points on my palate. And I was a little surprised by that. It kind of made me think. So.
This is a very savory bourbon. To me, it's savory on the palate, but it's sweet on the nose.
Yeah.
It really flips, but it's not a bad flip.
No, it's like, it almost teases you want to drink me, and then, hey, I'm really an adult here. I'm not the kid in the candy store. I've got some adult flavors happening. And I think it drinks pretty complex for an 86 proof. Lots of times it's like a one note, and this one's getting some other layers. I'm sitting here thinking about the finish. I can't say the finish is super long, even though it does have a really nice mouthfeel. Viscosity is good, but the finish, I feel like, doesn't quite last very long, and that's got to have something to do with the proof. But I do get barrel notes, and I do get some black pepper on the finish.
I would agree. I'm not just saying it because she's saying it. That's really what is there. Question with this: do you think it drinks its proof, or do you think maybe it drinks a tad higher?
I think proof-wise, I think it probably drinks its proof. It drinks around 90. 86 is a funky number.
Yeah.
But I think it drinks around 90, which is in its proof lane. But I think what throws me more is not the proof, it's the complex notes, and it's got to be from the 7-year aging. Because typically, things of this nature, this is kind of an airplane bottle, a sample bottle kind of a thing, they normally would be 4 years, 4-year age statements. So it's interesting that it's 7.
And I guess the question I have for you, is this something you would buy again?
You mean from a dusty perspective?
From a dusty perspective, and let's go both lanes. From a dusty perspective as well as a profile perspective.
I'm not sure it hits enough buttons for me. I think it's interesting. I appreciate having this taste, and I embrace that opportunity. Anytime I can drink something that's was bottled in 76, I was 16. I was starting to drive then. I love being able to taste something from back then. But I'm not sure it's in my wheelhouse because it doesn't have quite as many layers. I like something a little proofier. The nose is probably my favorite part of it. I love the nose.
It may be one of the better noses that we've had on a vintage pour. Ranks up there with Hill and Hill, which I still think Hill and Oak Grove are probably a couple of the really good ones.
Yeah.
We've been blessed with some good ones, honestly. When this puppy runs out, I wouldn't be opposed to having another small bottle of it, maybe this size or a 200. I think it's okay. I think it's one of those ones I'd revisit again. I'm pretty pleased with it.
Well, and with a dusty, you could get another one identical to this and it may not taste the same.
Yes, that's very true.
Because they might be a little bit different in timing and where it was stored. You just don't really know. I think it's fascinating. I don't have any regrets in us purchasing it, for sure. I think if you love bourbon or any kind of whiskey, I think this becomes part of the journey because we love to look at the history when we go to different distilleries and what's happened then and what caused this brand to go under or this one to come forward and survive all that time. Things like this is just another piece of that history that helps us look at it because now Bernheim facility is run by Heaven Hill.
Yep.
So that's where typically they're making Elijah Craig, and quite a bit of the Evan Williams is made there, as well as the Larceny. And of course the Bernheim is made there.
And it's kind of funny because what you said is true. It was made at Bernheim. Now it's owned by Sazerac, and they make the same stuff now at Buffalo Trace. Although we've never had the new version of it. We'll probably have to try it at some point. I don't know if I'd want to buy a whole bottle. but I wouldn't mind trying like a little glass just to see the difference in what they've done with it now as compared to this.
Yeah, and sometimes we try to do that. We try to acquire a current bottle, even if it's a different distiller, right? Because this would definitely be a different company and everything. But if we can find something that's low price range and it wouldn't break the bank, which I think we could do, maybe when we come back and revisit this, we could try it with a current model, which would be interesting. We've done that with Maker's Mark and a couple other things.
Yes.
Which is, I think, fascinating.
Absolutely. So let's raise our glass. To anyone out there that remembers the old charter back in the day that liked it, I'm glad that you enjoyed it, and I'm glad somebody didn't like this one and left it sealed for us. Thank you. Brad, once again, thank you for providing us the opportunity to be able to purchase this. And if you're looking for any vintage bottles and pours, you go up to Revival Vintage Spirits in Covington, Kentucky. You will not be disappointed. Great people work there. I can't say enough about the place.
It's amazing.
If you like what we do, hit the subscribe button. Always remember to drink responsibly. And today it's the bicentennial year of 1976, and we're going to drink some old charter. Cheers. Sipping on history.